Sometimes in life, there comes a moment when a person feels so overwhelmed, so tired, so lost, that even the smallest ray of hope feels like a miracle. And in that moment, when the heart trembles between fear and faith, a single whisper toward the heavens can change everything. Before we begin, if you believe even a little bit in hope, in prayers, in blessings, then take just a second to subscribe. Not out of habit, but because this journey we're about to start might become the one thing you hold on to when life feels heavier than usual. Today, I want to tell you about something incredibly powerful, something so gentle, yet so deeply touching that it has transformed lives, opened doors that felt permanently locked, and filled empty homes with the kind of blessings that make people sit down in disbelief. This is not a story of magic or superstition, but a story of faith. A faith so pure that when whispered with sincerity, it brings a kind of peace that cannot be bought, only felt. You see, there are moments when a person stands at the edge of their worries, questioning how much more they can endure. Bills stack up, responsibilities weigh down, and every day begins to feel like a battle just to breathe. The heart becomes restless, the mind becomes tired. And even though the world keeps moving, your own world feels stuck in place. But then comes a reminder, a soft, divine reminder, that the one who created everything can change anything, in a single moment, with a single intention, with a single act of his mercy. And that reminder is what brings us to this beautiful chapter of hope, to this promise wrapped in light, to this sacred gift known as Surah Al-Kawthar. For so many people, the feeling of financial struggle isn't just about numbers or money. It's the weight of knowing the family is waiting, but the table isn't full. It's the heaviness in a mother's heart when she hides her tears from her children. It's the silence of a father who looks at his empty wallet but smiles anyway so his family doesn't worry. It's the pain of someone who works endlessly and still finds life slipping through their fingers. And in those moments, the soul longs for a miracle, for something to change, for a door to open, for a burden to lift. Surah Al-Kawthar has been a source of that change for many hearts. It's the shortest surah in the Quran, but its light is vast, its meaning deep, and its blessings beyond imagination. It carries within it a reminder that Allah gives without limit, without measure, without boundaries, because He is the one who gives abundance, the one who creates ways where none exist, the one who turns emptiness into overflowing blessings. And the heartwarming part is that this act, this simple yet powerful prayer, requires just one day, a single day of sincere devotion, a single day of whispered faith, a single day where your heart talks to your Creator without interruption, without fear, without doubt. For so many brothers and sisters who feel trapped in poverty, who feel the tightness of Rizq closing in around them, who feel like no matter how hard they try, nothing seems to change, this practice has brought such profound relief that tears become the only way to express gratitude. Imagine walking into your home and feeling something different, a softness in the air, a quiet sense of ease settling into the walls, a warmth that tells you something has shifted. This is how many have described the blessings that follow this act of faith. The process is incredibly simple, yet its impact is unbelievably deep. After every prayer, whether you pray 5 times or you manage as your circumstances allow, you recite Surah Al-Kawthar 100 times. Each recitation is like a drop of hope falling into the heart, a ripple of light expanding inside you, a reminder that you are not forgotten. With every word, you speak a truth that has existed for centuries. Indeed, we have granted you abundance. Abundance in Rizq, abundance in peace, abundance in blessings you never even asked for. And after completing these recitations, you gently close your eyes and recite the divine name of Allah, Ya Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, 100 times. This name carries a weight that shakes the soul awake. It reflects Allah's majesty and His generosity, two qualities that soften even the hardest of destinies. When you say this name, you're not just speaking into the air. You're calling upon the one who never leaves his servants empty-handed. Once you finish, you raise your hands in sincere prayer, not rushed, not mechanical, but with a heart that finally allows itself to be vulnerable. Maybe your voice trembles, maybe your eyes fill with tears, maybe you feel a tightness in your chest slowly loosening, and that's where the miracle begins. That's where your brokenness becomes a bridge to blessings. When you talk to Allah from a place of sincerity, you're talking to the one who already knows your pain, who already understands your struggles, who already has the solution written. You just haven't reached it yet. People ask, can Allah really change everything in one day? And the answer is simple. Allah can change everything in 1 second. One moment, one breath, one intention, one prayer whispered with sincerity. When Allah decides to give, He doesn't give in small amounts. He gives in ways that overflow, in ways that surprise you, in ways that remind you how deeply loved you are. It's not about 1 million or 1 billion. Those are just numbers. When He gives abundance. And abundance cannot be measured. Many who performed this act of devotion shared that blessings came from unexpected directions. A job opportunity that seemed impossible, a debt being cleared, a sudden increase in business, peace entering the home, family members becoming kind again, the feeling of suffocation leaving the heart. Not every blessing is money. Sometimes the blessing is the removal of a hardship that was draining you for years. Sometimes the blessing is peace after endless anxiety. Sometimes the blessing is strength after feeling defeated. Whatever form it takes, abundance arrives when Allah wills it. But the true beauty of this practice is not just in what you receive. It's in how it changes your heart. When you dedicate a day to reciting Surah Al-Kawthar with love, with trust, with hope, your heart begins to soften. You start feeling a closeness to Allah that you might have forgotten. You begin to believe again. Your worries don't feel as heavy. Your steps don't feel as slow. Even before the blessings appear in your life, something inside you already begins to heal. This is the mercy of faith. It comforts you even before the world around you changes. And if you think about it deeply, this surah itself is a message, a reminder, a promise, a reassurance that Allah gives to whom He wills, when He wills, how He wills, and no power on earth can stop it. Sometimes we look at our empty wallets and wonder how things will improve. But the truth is, Rizq never comes from the wallet. It comes from the one who fills it. Sometimes we look at our jobs, our businesses, our efforts, and think they're not enough. But Rizq doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from effort wrapped in faith. Sometimes we look at our circumstances and forget that the one who created the entire universe can rearrange our destiny in a moment. Surah Al-Kawthar is like a gentle reminder that the doors of divine generosity are never closed. Not for you, not for anyone. No matter how difficult life becomes, no matter how empty your pockets feel, no matter how hopeless your heart seems, Allah's mercy is always bigger than your hardship. And maybe that is why so many people cling to this surah so deeply. Not because of the numbers, not because of the recitations, but because of the hope it brings. A hope that whispers, you are not forgotten. Your struggles are not invisible. Your prayers are not unheard. When you perform this act, even for one day, you're making a quiet declaration to the universe. I am trusting the one who holds my rizq. I am placing my struggle in the hands of the one who never disappoints. And that trust alone becomes a doorway to blessings. Listen, life will always have challenges. There will be days when you feel strong and days when you feel defeated. But when you anchor your heart in faith, you stop drowning. You begin to rise. You begin to breathe again. You begin to see possibilities where there were none. And that is the beauty of a sincere prayer. It lifts the burden before it lifts the circumstance. So today, if you are listening to this with a heavy heart, let this be your sign. Let this be the reminder you were meant to hear. You are closer to relief than you think. You are nearer to blessings than you realize. You are standing at the edge of a chapter that can open so beautifully that one day you will look back and say, "This was the turning point. This was the moment things began to change." So take this simple act. Perform it with sincerity. Recite Surah Al-Kawthar 100 times after every prayer. Recite Ya Dhul Jalali wal Ikram 100 times with your heart open. And then raise your hands and talk to Allah like you would talk to someone who truly loves you, because He does. One day, just one day of deep, heartfelt devotion. Let your heart whisper its truth and watch how the doors of mercy begin to open. And as we reach the end of this heartfelt message, I want to say this gently and sincerely. If this touched your heart even a little, if it gave you hope, if it reminded you of something you needed to hear, then please give this video a like, subscribe to Barkah and Noor, and stay with us for more meaningful stories that connect the soul and bring light to the heart.